you doing? I'm not sure what just happened. The live just dropped off. It said lost internet connection or something. Sorry about that, everybody. So let's give it a second. Let everybody kind of trickle back in. Hopefully we get the guests back up. I was interested in hearing that conversation. There was someone from, I think, the pro-Israeli side who said, suck it up or something. I'm not sure what they meant by that. But it's easy to say that when the shoe's on the other foot. We could have just as easily said to the American colonists, suck it up, like deal with the British, just accept your fate. Well, they didn't want to do that, and they didn't do that, and they overcame their oppressor. In this case, the struggle goes on. The Palestinians don't seem to want to give up and just, completely submit to Israeli control. Some people who live in Israel who are Arab, who lived through the 48 changes, I guess ended up inside Israel, and they've kind of just worked within that society the best they can and made the most of it. Some of whom have become integral parts of Israel's society. Others probably still feel, I'm sure they have mixed feelings. They like the fact that they have a better standard of living, but they probably don't like the fact that they have to deal with the situation they find themselves in, many of them, which is understandable. I'm sure that people who are American, indigenous, historical residents of North America probably feel very mixed about modern day America. Yeah, we have increased standard of living, but look what happened to their ancestors and look at the bullshit they have to deal with. So I can understand all that. Dog, stop licking your paws. Hey, stop that, please. You're going to lick them raw again. Anyway, sorry, we had a little hiccup in the live there. It said lost internet connection or something, so I apologize to those people who were in the middle of a good discussion. I'm taking a little Kit Kat bar break, so to take advantage of that little snack. Anyway, let me see if we have some guests that want to come back up. If you'd like to come up as a guest, feel free to do so. We were having a good conversation about what are the ways forward for Gaza and the Palestinians right now, given the circumstances. The argument being made by one of the recent guests was just deal with it. In other words, this is a pro-Israeli speaking to Palestinians, just deal with it. Right? So it's easy to say that when you're not the one who's having 2,000-pound bombs dropped on you, right? And it's easy to say that when you're not the one who's living in an enclosure where a foreign adversary controls your life from the outside. You can't travel anywhere. You can't export goods, so you can't have a real economy. You don't get certain things like cement necessary to come in and build stuff. And yes, there are reasons given for that, like security interest and the H group. I get it, but the extent to which the Israelis control Gaza is way above the necessities for their security. Why wouldn't they let wedding dresses in? That's just to be an asshole, right? So stuff like that. That's what I take issue with. I'm not somebody who wants to see the destruction of Israelis or people pushed into the sea or any of that stuff like that, although I do think it's unfair how the state came to be to the people that were living and got pushed out. But I do think there needs to be some give and take to solve the problem. I think the smartest way to do that, even though it's very inconvenient and unlikely, is to just go back to the 67 borders. The Arab League has said flat out, we'll support that. We'll guarantee your security. We'll guarantee your recognition. But of course, the 700,000 plus settlers that live there don't want to hear that, nor does the Israeli government. And they seem to do whatever they can under whatever circumstances to just take a little more here, a little more there, push people off here, push people off there. In this latest chapter, we've seen an acceleration, which is basically justified by what happened on October the 7th, according to the Israeli side. So this is the interesting part of this. If there anybody who wants to come up and talk, please do. We'll settle back into a panel. I don't know if people are just kind of calling it quits based on the live going in, which is certainly possible too. But I do need at least one person up here. Federico, if you're still in the audience, if you can come up, I need help with the moderation, or I can give mod to somebody because I'm going to have to go off of the live for about 5 minutes or so, go dark and on mute, but then I'll be able to come back. So let's see if Federico's here. Yes, here he is. Thank you, Federico. So I'm going to make Federico big. He can control the live for right now, and I'll just be a guest. So Federico,
did you hear what?
Yeah. You can handle I had an internet connection issue. It said live ended because of internet connection or something. So I'm not sure what happened.
Yeah, the guy was telling Liberty to suck it up.
I heard that. That was pretty presumptuous. Yeah.
It's crazy.
That was crazy. Yeah, I imagine it's a lot easier to say that when you're not in the shoes of somebody being oppressed.
Yeah. Anyway, you gonna drive?
Well, I'm going to be off the. I'm not going to drive. I'm going to be off the net for a few minutes. I have to do some stuff, and I'll be back on.
Uh,
But if you can bring up people, there's one named Blatzer Taser, or something like that, Blazer Taser. And then if other people want to come up, can you handle bringing the guests up?
absolutely. But
Yeah, I got you, man.
Okay, I'm going to go dark. I'll see you guys in a few minutes. Everybody who comes up, please be respectful. Go on mute. No cuss words. No personal attacks. Let's cover the issues, not the personal crap. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah, let's solve some issues today, guys.
yeah. So, Blazer, what's on your mind?
Not much. I mean, I think this is one of the saddest weekends of the year when there's only one college football game on.
Oh, so football game, huh?
Yeah, but
Rico.
other than
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
I'm wondering what the hell these drones are, man. Like, are we gonna have to go to work on Monday or what?
Well, these drones, they know what they are. They flew them up.
Just a
Yeah,
distract.
you think they're
Well,
Amazon drones?
either Amazon drone or scare tactics. They want to
Why
scare
wouldn't the
us,
government just come out and say they're Amazon drones then?
and then it is scare taxes. They wanna wage war on Iran, and they wanna blame it on the
I
Iranians.
think the answer's staring us in the face. I think they're aliens, and they're coming down and they're organizing.
Well, that question should go to Elon Musk.
At this point, I think I might welcome the aliens. Thanks.
That's crazy that they don't know what was flying.
They know.
There is a AJ guy yesterday was saying that he had one of these big drones dropping one of his Amazon packages on. But again, why the government wouldn't say it's Amazon?
Because it's not Amazon.
I think it's just a distraction.
Absolutely, that's what I think too.
They know the American people have very short attention spans, and if they throw something out in front of you, you'll pay attention to it.
And who's
I
gonna
mean, they're
fly?
drones coming down from the sky. Of course, we're going to pay attention to it.
Yeah, no, but coming down from the sky is one thing, and flying over the U.S. is a completely different thing.
Nah, well, I mean, you can't fly over the U.S. unless you come down out of the sky, can you?
Well, I mean, you're flying in the sky. Coming out of the sky, you're assuming to be an extraterrestrial.
Maybe it's the rapture, my guy.
Or maybe some tests that the U.S. government is doing. You know, we've seen some crazy shit before. They coming up with a new product and they want to try it out.
Yeah, but they got like massive military ranges, like where we tested nuclear weapons. They got, we got deserts in America where they can test this stuff. They don't test that stuff over New Jersey, over people's
Maybe
houses.
maybe I don't know. But I know for sure the U.S. intelligence is not that stupid to have somebody fly. Nothing happens in the U.S. without a permission first by the American government.
Absolutely.
Even 9/11 happened with a permission.
Yes, it did.
I don't know about that.
It did, but it did.
It
You,
did.
you got you got proof for that, buddy?
If you follow history and
Okay, so you
you
don't have
read.
proof.
Hold on,
You
hold
don't have
on,
proof.
hold on, hold on, hold on. You know, usually you can tell the criminal by his rap sheet, right? And when you
What?
have when you have a rap sheet of lying and manipulating shit, it's everything is possible. And if you go look at the archive of the released uncensored document from the government, you see how many lies we've been told all our lives. So
You're saying a lot of words.
I'm saying a lot of words, yeah, and every word has a meaning. Just go read the unclassified document of the U.S. government, and you know what have we been lied to all along. Nothing that what we told it was true. No major event that happened and that does not have a clue behind it. So
Yeah, I disagree.
you have
Hello
the right
again.
to. Hey, how you doing, mister?
Um, I want to ask, but not too many people on the panel now. I want to ask somebody from USA, which is a USA citizen who stands with Israel. What's the reason why USA stands with Israel?
Do you want to hear it from somebody that doesn't support Israel, that lives in the USA?
No, I want to hear from a US citizen who supports and he says he stands with Israel. Why? Why?
What's your stand, please?
I want world peace, so I stand with both. Palestine and Israel.
What? How could you stand with
It's
both?
not possible.
This not make sense.
It completely is. It is.
You pick one
You
or
just
the other.
treat
One.
people how you want to be treated. You don't treat people how they treat you. You treat people how you want to be treated.
Okay, I got a question for the Zios. How
Yes,
come
sir.
so many Jewish authors have written so many books against you? Dozens, maybe
They are H group.
hundreds.
They are
What?
part
They're
of H
Jewish.
group.
Yeah, they're Jewish.
You know these.
They're just trying to make a
people,
buck.
They are
Okay,
part
one
of H
second.
group.
What?
One
Answer
second,
that
guys,
question.
guys. 1 second. Okay. Now that the panel is full, let's take turns and let's not make speculation on stuff. Don't answer like, now tell me one author is Jewish, he's writing a book, then Britzi Israel calls them H group. That is not
Federico, what's wrong
accepted.
with that question? How
No,
come?
nothing wrong with the question. Buddy.
I think
Nothing
it's
wrong
a
with
BS question.
Why is that?
Well, because you didn't even give one specific detail. You were just like, why is it that so many authors are writing dozens of
You
books? Like,
could,
what
instead
the
of
heck are you
saying,
talking about?
hold on.
Avi Shleim is an anti-Semite.
Uh,
Gideon Levy,
instead of telling
anti-Semite.
him that's a bullshit story,
Whoa.
you can ask him. Hold on, you can ask him, hey, which one you're talking about? What's his name? What's his background? Where did he come from? What did he write?
Well, that's just how you should phrase a question. I shouldn't have to ask a
Okay,
question.
well,
Your question.
let's say Finkelstein. Let's say what's his name?
Noam Chomsky.
Noam Chomsky. Thank you. And that other guy,
Pape?
Don Pape.
Ilham
Yeah,
Pape.
Pape. Thank you.
Yeah,
you
he's a good
again.
one.
Those are three. Why don't you comment on those three? And then there's an American guy who is famous for the book he just published, #1 seller, War, which is also depicting. He's an American author. He's depicting Israel as the bad guy and playing dirty-handed with APAC and ADL and all that. What do you got to say to that?
Well,
They
I
are
can go write a book and
anti-Semites,
say
I
the
told
opposite.
you.
Anybody can write a book about anything, buddy.
It's quite simple. Hi, everybody. I hope
Hey.
everybody having a nice Christmas.
Hey.
Can I say something there?
I don't know. Can you?
Just 1 second. It is the question was made to Blaze. So have Blaze answer, then you can answer to the same question. British can answer to the same question too. Just one at a time.
Yeah, so they're just trying to make money. That's why they're publishing books like that.
Say they're trying to make money.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, it's all about money.
This is not an answer.
1 second, guys. 1 second. Okay. Your answer was just to make money. Israel. What's your answer to that?
Anybody who criticizes the state of Israel is anti-Semite. That is my stance.
You say these authors are anti-Semite. That's the second answer.
They're whole anti-Semites.
Okay.
No,
so that's
they are
your answer. So we
Jewish
have
people.
one answer.
Even
Hold on,
if
guys.
they served in the IDF.
Guys, one second. So we have one answer that it's for money. The other answer because they're self-hating. Is that what you're saying, Brit? Because they're self-hating Jews?
I don't know this, but if you say
Because they
any
are
against
Jews.
Israel,
They
you are
can't be.
anti-Semitic.
They cannot be anti-Semitic if they are Semite. So either self-hating Jews
Israel is
or
different country.
huh?
We operate differently.
What do you mean you operate differently?
Well, any action or word against the state of Israel is anti-Semitic.
So they are.
Even if he's a Jewish.
Doesn't matter. It's okay.
Okay,
Are
so
you, sir?
so
sir,
not
are
the
you
people.
capable?
According to him, not the people. The land is a Semite, not the people. Correct, Israel?
You talk two big words.
No, you're saying Israel. So I'm trying to understand who is Semite, the people or the land?
Yeah, pass.
What do you mean pass?
Oh my
That means
God.
he's uneducated to answer
Can
the
I
question.
say something there?
All
Go
right.
ahead.
So we have one for money. The second answer is pass by Israel, and it is what it is.
Well,
Wow.
first of all, I hope everybody has a very nice weekend and a nice, very Merry Christmas in a few weeks.
Yeah, happy Hanukkah.
Yeah, why not?
Oh.
Happy Hanukkah. And it's quite simple. The difference between the Jews and all this, and other countries and religion is that we have like Europe freedom of thought and we can
Okay,
talk about
okay.
anything.
Excuse me. You're off topic. We asked
No,
the
no, no, no,
question.
no. I'm not. So
AJ,
I
you
mean,
can't just interrupt the guy. I mean, he was so nice. He said, "Hope everybody's
We
having a
were
good
getting
weekend.
answers.
Merry Christmas."
Hold on. We were getting answers on these
yeah,
Israeli Jewish
yeah, of
writers.
course. So
So
that's
yeah,
why,
keep it on that topic.
yeah, because we have freedom of speech in Israel, and people can be against and for the government and the city on the, and this and without getting punished. If there was another country, you see what happened in Syria. The 50 years they have been
Yeah,
slaughtering.
we already know
Hey,
all of that.
hey,
It is what it is.
Yeah,
But
so
the thing is,
that's why we
question.
have these.
AJ, hold on. So are you saying because in Israel you have a freedom of speech and all of that, that these writers are 100%
They're not
correct?
traitors.
Listen, AJ
Hold on.
asked such a dumb question, so
No,
you're
no,
gonna
it's
get a
not
bunch
a
of
dumb.
dumb
We
It's not.
have
answers.
the
No,
freedom of
no,
speech
no.
except
But
what
for
does the truth
Hold
TV
on,
hurt?
online.
don't spill your
guys,
But Al
ignorance.
Jazeera, they are
guys,
anti-Semitic, so we don't
guys.
allow them.
Let me manage the
Yeah,
question. It's
AJ is a
okay.
racist.
All right, you wanna call him a racist? That's on you. It's not a good thing to do.
Al Jazeera is not racist, it's
Brits, hold on.
anti-Semitic.
It is what it is. So you said because you have a freedom of speech in Israel and you have the freedom, and if in Arab country somebody writes a book like this, they would be unalive. So are they lying in their book or were they writing their life experience?
Well, I mean, lying, I don't know, but they have different opinions,
Well,
and
have you
because
read
it
Well,
different.
books? Have you read any books?
I never read a book in my life. I'm 52 years old. What's a book?
Okay, you
It's
don't
something.
qualify.
Explains
You're a
that.
pass two.
I
Since you
never
don't
read a book
read,
in my life. What is
since
that?
you
so
don't
what do
He
you?
read,
just said pass.
you pass.
Hold on. So let's see why how he makes up his mind. What do you know about Elan Papi?
Nothing.
Elam Puppy, personally, I don't know about much, nothing about him.
How about
But I
Frankenstein?
know, let's see,
Oh,
I know Finkelstein. I don't agree with his way of thinking and his thoughts and his decisions. That is up
Do
to
you think
him.
he lies? Do you think he lies?
Everything depends on what kind of color of glasses you put in. I think he lies. It depends. In my opinion, he's lying, but in his opinion, he's telling the truth. So everything depends on what kind of color you look at through.
No. The
Like, what do
truth
you
is in
mean?
the middle.
Well, what
Yeah.
lies specifically has he told? What lied? What did he lie about? You called him a
he
liar.
doesn't
So
read. He doesn't read. Did you
what did
hear
he
him?
lie about? Oh, I heard him. But if you're going to call a man a liar,
I never
I
read a
think
book
that
in
you.
my life. What is a
But if
book?
you're
It's
going
something to
if
eat.
you're going to call a
Can you
man
get
a
a
liar,
castle?
then you should say what he's lying about.
Well,
What did he lie about?
that was not a question. Now you ask me that question.
Now we're splitting hairs like freaking liberals.
That's not. You see. Even your political views, it does not make you wrong. You can be liberal. You could be lefty. You could be righty. You could
Right.
be racist. You could be whatever you want to be. It doesn't matter. But the fact is that there is questions that to be answered. You're free of your opinion. But
Yeah, you could be
the
a terrorist
question, yeah,
sympathizer.
you can be whatever
You
you
could do
like.
what the other guy did. You could pass if you don't
Yeah,
read.
yeah. But remember,
joking. I mean, if you think I read, are you stupid? Are you something?
through all history, what we learned that every people that were called T's at one point, they became the heroes and they became the freedom fighter. Che Guevara, he was called a T, and now he's a symbol of freedom today. So there is debatable on what side you stand.
I've read every book there is.
You have
I
read
wanted to
every book.
say, Frederico, it's a lack of media literacy when people speak this way because someone like Elon Pape, he is a historian. He writes with facts based on objective truths, and then he might, draw different conclusions, but those conclusions are what everyone does, and throughout that's what they do, what people do. But the facts are the facts.
Well, the facts are. It's actually bendable. Depends what kind of angle you go to every fact.
Okay.
Everything
It
depends.
So we
doesn't.
need
Wait,
to
It's not
move
a
on.
fact then.
Federico, we need to move
don't
on.
interrupt
Ask
me.
another
Don't
person.
interrupt
Yeah,
me.
that was a
Okay,
bad question.
okay.
You know,
I'm
Elon.
gonna, yeah.
Yeah, I just wanna say something to what he just said. That facts are bendable. That
Well,
mindset.
It depends
That,
what
that
question
is
you
that,
ask.
that is
no,
that
no,
is
no.
that is the objective of my next question.
Okay, go right
Um,
ahead then.
I
Thank you.
can anybody does know something that Elian Pape wrote in his book, a short sentence or something or a fact that he wrote in his book. Anybody knows it by heart?
Chip does.
Yeah, I know one.
Which
That
one?
book's on his desk. He showed it to me. It's
Yeah,
always on his desk.
he said
Which?
suck a fart out of my ass.
Hey, no,
I can
it's
speak
just
to that.
nice,
So yeah, if you study
dude.
Ilyan Pape's work, just to let you know his background. He was an Israeli Jewish Zionist who grew up in a household that many of his family and friends are still Zionist. He was so outspokenly anti-Zionist at one point that he was asked to leave the country. He doesn't live in Israel anymore. So the book he wrote, he's most well known for, is called The Ethnic Cleansing of Palestine. It's a must-read book, whether you agree or disagree with the point of view, so you can understand how people, why they take the position they take. The other book he wrote, which I really like, it's much shorter. It's called 10 Myths About Israel. So again, these are the premises that we often hear that he refutes in his book is that this is God's chosen people who are coming back to their ancestral homeland. They're decolonizing it from the Arab movement, that people left voluntarily before the 1948 war, so therefore they're not valid people. There's no such thing as Palestinians. You know, it goes on and on and on. These are the claims we hear in terms of making these narratives and arguments. He goes down them one by one and dissects them, talks about the historical backdrop of what actually happened, not giving it a value judgment, just saying these are the events that occurred, and then shaping why he takes the position he does based on those events. Most people who support the pro-Israeli position have a narrative that is devoid of many of the things he lists in the book. People shortcut, they gloss over. The story that is told and transmitted, unfortunately, listen, I don't blame people for believing it because it's a very sort of romantic story of how the Jewish people came back to their homeland, about how they came to a place that was basically empty of people, and they reestablished a Jewish homeland and made the desert bloom and all this other stuff. The only problem is it's total nonsense.
To add on to
Thank
that,
you.
so what I
So,
found interesting.
Frederico, go ahead, Lucy. Sorry.
I just wanted to add on. So, what I thought was interesting about Elon Pape is that he took Benny Morris's work. And Benny Morris is referred to as a revisionist. They're referred to as revisionist
I gotta go.
historians
Have a nice night. See you later. I gotta. Sorry.
Bye. Take
Nice.
care.
because they
Go read the
are
book.
looking at new evidence that was never was not looked at until about like the 60s or 70s, right, Chip? When it comes to the Nakba, right? So these people, Benny Morris gathered all of this evidence, and he determined that the Nakba happened in a different way that they've been telling the Israelis for years, right? And then Elon Pape took the evidence that Benny Morris found, and then had a different had a different point of view, right? Benny Morris thought, oh, the Nakba happened, we should have done more. And Elon Pape said it was immoral and unjust.
That's fine. You wanted to say something?
Brother, I was just gonna say one of the quotes from Elon Pape talks about Zionism presented itself to the world as a way to end anti-Semitism, but really what it has done is allowed it to continue.
Brilliant. What do you think about that? Is that right or wrong?
Are there any other Zionists on this panel?
I don't know. Kylie, what's your stand?
Kyle's a Zionist.
Not yours. That's for sure. I don't believe you're garbage.
All right. There is no reason, to be a macho on a panel. Nobody can see you. Like you can show off, flip your muscles. Nobody's looking. But you can answer as a
Yeah, I
human.
don't believe you're garbage. Sorry, man.
So you
Sorry, I
don't
use my
you
brain.
don't you don't believe my garbage? Why you up here then?
Because I don't agree with you. Go ahead.
So if you don't
What don't
agree,
you agree with?
So
hold
make
on,
a so
hold
make
on,
a
hold
to
on,
make
hold
a
on.
an educated argument, Kyle. Don't
Yeah.
just call him names.
So yeah,
You're
why you up?
asking too much, Lucy.
Like, what do you come up here for? Like, why did you request? Do you have
Just to
anything
listen to a
intellectual to
bunch of
teach
terrorists
people?
talk about shit that they made up.
Okay, what is that made up? What is that we said that was made up?
What have you not made
Come on, say something. If we said so much stuff that was made up, just name more. Name one.
Just say with your chest.
Things you like pathologically, you can't even
Say
do
a
it right.
lie. Come on, say a lie. Say a lie. You see, you just
He
made a
can't,
fool out of
Frederico.
yourself. You
He
just came
can't.
up here and you made a fool out of yourself. And I don't
No,
want
I'll
to be.
just let you guys
I don't want to
keep
be in
running your
your
mouth.
position. You look
No, I'll
like trash right now.
let you guys run your mouth because obviously you guys don't know how to tell anything that's truthful.
How we run our mouth?
Is he talking shit about Israel?
I don't
No,
know.
Shut
What
your
is
mouth,
he
guys.
saying?
Muslims.
I don't
He's
know.
a Islamophobe.
But come
No,
on,
it's okay.
we can
Islamophobe is
talk to
okay.
Islamophobic. Maybe we become Islamophobic if we learn from him. Come on, teach us something.
Yeah, teach us Islamophobia.
Kyle,
Wow.
close the Hasbara book.
He's
Yeah.
Close
quiet.
it.
No, it's not written in the Hasbara
Okay,
book. That's the
Frederico.
problem. That's subject that it's
What
called
Hasbara book? Freddy,
critical thinking.
there's no
Come
such
on.
thing as Hasbara book. Who said Hasbara book?
I don't know.
It's been published on the internet, British Israel, so I don't
No,
know
that's
what you're
Hasbara. It's just a lie we make up. Hasbara book. What?
what.
I don't know how long I
What?
could keep this
Literally was
disguise on
published.
for, guys.
I
Honestly,
now
I know.
now you go
British
to
British
hotels. You
British
yeah.
Israeli is a pro pally. He can't keep it up anymore.
I can't. Like, honestly, the accent is hurting,
It was it
and
was
there's
it was
just
pretty
some
bad,
things you
bro.
have to say, and it's
You
just
were
I
trolling.
feel icky.
He's trolling is pretty bad. Yeah.
So, but
Lucy, are
Kylie,
you serious? Is it
I
that
think
bad that you
do you want
clocked?
me to know if you want to put a better picture of you? I can put you on big screen so everybody will look at your beauty, if you have any.
Well, Chip dropped him from the panel twice before because he couldn't control himself. But I
I
will say I
guess.
went and looked at his profile, and he's got a terrible golf swing. So maybe he should be on the golf tour trying to figure that out first.
Yeah.
I find golf dudes very interesting. Like, how could you find such a sport interesting?
Golf.
Well, golf
Golf
can
was
be fun, but
invented. Golf was
it's not
invented
interesting
by
because
a person to exercise the queen when she was pregnant. So tell
yeah,
me how relevant golf is when it was invented for a queen in the 16th or 15th century.
It is AJ. You need a state of mind to play golf. It's not an easy. It's not a. It's not just hit the ball. I don't play golf, but I know a lot of people do, and when I even their personality, as every golf player if you meet, their personality is calmer, and they are
well, when
probably
they're good
more.
at golf, Frederico, Kyle is
Yeah.
he isn't.
Yeah, but he's pretending to do. He pretends to know everything. He knows
Yeah.
that we lie. He couldn't tell us a lie. And on the end, he muted himself. I think he's just getting paid by the minute how long he can last on a panel. And I noticed something with these trolls.
I don't think he's even getting paid.
No,
You have
you
to have some
know,
level of intelligence, I think, to get paid, Federico. I think what he's doing is he has nothing better to do with his life, right? Than to get
I
on
have a
TikTok
genuine
and
question. I
be
have a
ugly.
genuine
That's
question.
all. You know, he likes
Please
yeah.
teach me
Most
what I
people on
need
his
to
like
do to
TikTok
not be so obvious that I'm not an actual Zionist. Like, what do I
You
need to
gotta work on
say?
that accent because it was bad, bro.
on his TikTok
No,
post there is
he sound like an old guy
talking their bullshit.
He
from
did.
Tel
He
Aviv.
sounded old.
I
I've
took,
kind of modeled it on
Pro
like an
Hamas
Eastern
asshole.
European mix with Borat.
I fall for it for a minute.
Yeah, me too.
I was getting ready for you next.
Well, no, it's just
I fell for it too. I think you need to like he instead of just being like, "Oh, y'all are I'm stupid," like kind of come up with their or
it seems like the
use their arguments,
He
their stupid
passed.
arguments.
He gave a pass on the question.
Yeah, like to try to
Did you find that was funny? I was hoping you guys
That
find
was
that
Hey,
no,
funny.
hey, the
I
Zios
was
in the
getting ready
comments.
to
The
have you
Zios
make.
in the Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was getting ready with a line of questioning that would make you pass
Watching the
many
tent.
times.
Oh, but the Zios in the
I didn't
comments
watch.
are
Leave me
rooting for
alone
you.
watching.
Did you know that?
They
Okay.
were. They were.
Probably Navy, but I don't
They
know.
were. They were cheering you on. They
All
fell
right,
You
for
know
it.
what?
guys.
Just to switch topic very quickly,
Let's do
I
mod
just want to give
announcement.
a
Let's do
quick
mod
shout.
announcement,
Sorry,
please.
Frederick.
Yeah, that's okay. Mod announcement. Let's tap, let's scream and share it. Let's bring more people in. Everybody on this panel is knowledgeable besides Kylie. He doesn't know what he wants, but it's okay. You can stay up here. But let's
But
tap and share the live. Let's bring more people in. Keep up
Frederick, I just want to give a shout out to Chip
you're trolling. No,
because
no, you shouldn't. You shouldn't. You're troll. Stay trolling.
what?
Stay trolling.
Why?
For the rest of the life, you're an Israeli.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead. We'll give you some
So
chips
right
at
now
the end.
you need to call Chip anti-Semitic.
Yeah, right. He's an
Chip,
anti-Semite.
your dog is anti-Semitic. Your dog is anti-Semite.
Oh yeah, that's what you were saying. That if anyone
Okay.
criticizes Israel, you're just an anti-Semite.
So I'm showing
So,
you a map.
so tell me, Lucy, why the hell do you support Hamas? Because it seems like you're pretty misinformed as well as the rest of you guys on here. But
Do
So
you even
inform
know who
us.
Hamas
No,
is?
look at
from
this
a
map
bunch of
I'm showing.
terrorists.
Look, this
I'm not
map is
surprised a bunch of
19.
terrorists don't know what they're talking about. Really, I'm not
Look.
surprised. It's okay.
Inform us. Hi, Kylie. Come on.
TikTok friendly language, please, Kylie.
You guys are a bunch
Look,
of
this
fucking
map
terrorists.
says it all right there, buddy. 1917. That was the green was all Palestine. Okay. 1948. It's just Gaza, the little strip of Gaza, and then the West Bank. Okay. 1967. Look at 1967. You see it? It's just Gaza and the West Bank. 1995. There's something happening in the West Bank, and look at Gaza. That is pathetic. Oh my goodness. So, this is why we're here, sir. This is a hypocrisy. This is not the way to run people off, telling them that they didn't exist, telling them that they never owned the country when they were there for thousands of years. Do you understand what that means, sir? Did he leave? Did he run? Did that
He ran.
scare him? Wow.
That's good.
That was the fastest debunked chip. Did you see that? He
Well,
couldn't
what
handle the
happened?
truth.
What happened was he said you all are a bunch of effing terrorists, and so I dropped him for good and blocked him because it's like the third
Oh,
time
thank
he's
you.
disrespected the line.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
he's
you.
gonna get the
Thank
live
you.
taken down otherwise.
Yeah.
He can't act like an adult and have an adult conversation. He's like a third grade mode, so let's send him back to third grade.
Chip,
I
you
mean,
know
and
what's
this is
crazy? Do you know why I want to give a shout out to Chip? Because I'm in England, right? And we're watching Americans very carefully, right? With what's going on as the elections, etc., etc. And the vast majority of us English people have come to a conclusion that, and don't take this offensively, Americans are fucking idiots, right? There's not a whole lot of intelligence in that particular demographic. Then luckily we have people like Chip and lots of other people who are active who are fixing that sort of assessment of us across the sea, across the Atlantic. So shout out to Chip. Well done. You're representing your peoples and you're the kind of peoples we'd want America to be. But unfortunately, there's too many idiots out there.
Well, I think the word use of the word idiot. I like to use the word uninformed or poorly informed. It's, in many cases, it's no fault of their own. The way the system functions with fast food, junk food, propaganda on the media, just all the bullshit in our school system, it kind of creates these zone-like zombies that have no idea what's going on outside the United States, and it doesn't encourage people to think critically. You pass the
Do you
test,
take away
you
their
take your job.
accountability though?
Well, put it this way, ultimately, we're going to be responsible for the society that we create. And again, this is why I wanted to change. The challenge we're running into is the political system is so incredibly insulated through money and influence that it doesn't allow for the changes that are necessary to create a more informed electorate. It's like one blocks the other, which blocks the other. So we're going to have to do something outside of elections in this country. And I think people, as inflation increases and people's lives get more difficult, and they learn more about things like we're learning about this issue, more and more people are going to realize that, and then we're going to have to go through a difficult period to achieve change.
I want to tell you good news. All the empires have fallen,
Yep.
and Maybe
Yeah.
maybe it's not during our lifetime, but USA empire and all the Western imperialistic countries will fall as well. And believe me what I tell you now, as Hitler and his army fall and disappear from history, it will happen the same with Netanyahu and IDF. Don't ever believe that evil
You know what the
will win.
crazy thing is, though? The Germans, and I'm not here defending Hitler, of course, right? But he at least focused on the German economy, right? Factories, manufacturing, etc., etc. America is wholly running on weapons and infrastructure contracts and all that
That's
sort of
why it
stuff.
will
And
fall.
where you have the exponentially increasing inequality of wealth kicking about in America, it's just simply not sustainable. It has to come to an end. There's no productive value from boom booms and pew pews. There's nothing productive about it. If you want to spend money on building farms, technology, manufacturing, you are creating something which has economic productive value. Pew
Well,
pews and boom
something
booms.
I
something
mean,
I
in this country, there our economy is almost like a lot of it, most of it is based on speculation too. It's not even just the war industry; it's a bunch of speculation. So this country definitely has hit what's ahead. The road ahead is going to be difficult for people in general, but. I wanted to say also, you know, a lot of Americans and maybe UK Westerners in general, we're undereducated, and it creates a group of reactionary people, right? So like that guy who just came on and just started saying you're a bunch of teists, because they have nothing to add to the conversation. It always ends up being insult, you're this, you're that, instead of like actual conversation, right? And so like the reactionary part of it too is really, I think, a key.
You see, what I always thought when I moved to the in general, but about the American people and the government. If you live in America, you know, wherever you live, the surrounding area, you probably have one or two bad guys in your neighborhood or people that you can't tolerate in your neighborhood. But the rest of the people are very kind people, very helpful people. They care about someone else. And growing up between looking at the government and looking at the people is two completely different things. And I knew it that one day the American will see what's really going on and they would wake up. And that's what's happening right now.
It is happening, Federico. More people are becoming more informed, and they're becoming more informed because of their own plight in a lot of ways too, and that's
Sorry,
what's
I just
going to continue, and that's
sorry, I just want to say
what's going to kick
I've got to
things
hop
behind
off, and I don't want to be rude and
right here.
just go. But thanks for having me, guys. I'll probably hop on a bit later. Sorry, half pint. Please continue.
Oh no, go ahead. You're fine. You're fine. So I think what's going to happen. Hopefully, you guys can hear me because my bars seem to be going down. Um, what's going to happen is the more that people in America are affected by what's going on, more people are going to wake up and search out what's really happening. And that's, it's accelerating because as our inflation goes up, as people are struggling more, um, that's going to cause them to try to figure out what's going on, and then they're going to be educated. The problem that we have right now is instead of people going and getting the education that they need about what's actually going on, they're focusing on the issues that they're being fed. Things like the transsexual problem, the crazy issues, the between red and blue, all of those things. So as people continue and they see that, if you voted red, it's not getting better because red is in.
So, can I make a point?
Go right
Uh,
ahead.
this is Moti. This is Moti Kahana, the relative of Mir Kahana, the late Mir Kahana. who said that the only good Arab is an unalive Arab. Okay? He couldn't say Palestinian. He would never use the word Palestinian. Now, Moti Kahana is this is what he makes. And why do I refer to him as a dum-dum or dum-dums? Is because he has just purchased a security company called Blackwater from the United States government. And the Pentagon has decided to give him $200 million with the consent of Netanyahu, or if you want to call him Netanyahu, but I like to refer to him as Netanyahu, and he's another dum-dum pop, okay? And he makes these candies. The man is a billionaire. He makes all these candies. Yeah, this is my favorite right here. I'll probably never eat it again, knowing that he makes it. And here's something that's also very popular: chocolate covered peanuts, and crumbles and chocolate bars. He's just a mixed nuts of candy. And he's made billions, and now he's purchased Blackwater so that he can get a contract to do a dum-dum drop scenario where he's going to escort the trucks. His Blackwater security company is going to escort the trucks in Gaza from Israel proper to Gaza to a compound. And these people are heavily armed. These people have unalived over 500,000 Iraqis during the Gulf War with America and Iraq during the Saddam administration. And this company is notorious unaliver. And also, we're going to see a bunch of flower massacres because of this pathetic person, Moti Kahana. Okay? And he also owns a bus company in Syria. Isn't that strange? A bus company in Syria that shuttles people from Syria to Israel? Wow, that's weird. And if they want to join the ITF,
Hold on.
I call them
AJ, bus company from, like, was that new or something existed, or what, how? Explain that.
It's on the internet.
No.
Let me pull it up for
What's
you.
the story behind it? I never heard it.
It's a bus line that he owns in Syria to bring anybody who's not happy in Syria to Israel to immigrate, especially if they're Jewish. And I'll pull it up for you if you want to see the.
I just wanna. I'll look into it. Don't worry.
Yeah, if you Google, it's in the Jewish press. The Jewish press published it. They're all proud of him being a billionaire candy producer in America. He sells bags of candy. As a matter of fact, if you want your name on a bag of gummy worms or a bag of gummy bears, he'll be happy to put Federico's wonderful candy and price it for you even. So but you have to buy a container full to make it worth his adventure, because he's a billionaire. He's not going to do nothing for less than $250,000 or maybe even 100,000. Who knows? But you could start your own company. This is how this man made his money. He had the machinery. He had the technology to produce tonnage of candy, all types. And of course, his most famous, which I think relates to him, is the Dum Dum Pops, because he is the biggest dum dum that I've ever met, or the smartest. I should say the smartest. He's a billionaire, and I'm just a stupid bus driver. Everybody keeps reminding me, "Hey, you're just a stupid bus driver. You don't know nothing." I laugh every time they say that, because I sleep at night. I don't know how these other people can sleep. Anybody want to talk about that?
Candyman, Blackwater, and a shuttle company.
Yep, exactly. Look how they operate. How does he get a $200 million Pentagon contract? That's what blows my mind. To take his new security company Blackwater to Israel and hire these mercenaries with a lot of pew-pews and go into Gaza and distribute food. How is that even going to happen when you have a mercenary force like that? Chip, can you comment on this?
Usually,
What I'm trying to figure out is why is this guy in the candy business going into the mercenary business? It just doesn't make a lot of sense. What's the reason?
He's a big Zionist, bro. He's a Kahana. He believes, just like his uncle, okay, that the only good Arab is an unalived Arab. That was Kahana's famous coined phrase. He came on TV. He used to come on. The first time I met him was on the Phil Donahue show, and he told Phil Donahue. Phil Donahue told him, "Hey, that's our tax dollars you're getting. Why are you spreading hate and racism?" He goes, "Because the only good Arab is an unalive Arab, and you could take your tax money and shove it, come out of." And an Egyptian national who lived in Jersey or New York unalived him. Why? I don't know. Maybe because he was offended. Shows that this man is not kosher because he does use pig fat in his candy, gelatin. That's the main ingredient for gummy worms, and comes up with all kinds. Now he's got candy strips. He just takes a strip of candy, cuts it 2 by half an inch or 1 inch by half an inch, and he calls them candy strips. He throws them in a plastic bag, puts a name on it, and makes $1 billion. Gee, I wonder how that happens.
well, it happens in a manufacturing, and a couple of people with money. And you gotta get a candy bag. Yeah. So, what in the news today? Did anybody listen to any news today? I heard that Blinken was threatening Iran.
You mean the Secretary of State?
Yeah.
Well, they've been putting in the news for the last 2 days. They're gonna attack Iran. They're gonna take out the nuclear facilities. I brought this question up earlier when Chip and he was on that panel with Haas. He calls it, what was that live? It was called Haas, HAV or HAQ. And I asked the question to Chip, and Chip said that that's impossible because they have to have boots on the ground to actually really take out any nuclear facility. Isn't that right, Chip?
I mean, Iran is a whole continent by itself. Old and faithful. That's the third time.
Yeah, HAQ. That's the live. I was on it earlier. And the Zio made the mistake of using me as a as a Zionist question. I laughed my head off at that. I tell you, this eagle gets me in more trouble.
AJ, do you remember, or how's everyone been? I haven't talked to all of y'all in a while.
Lucy, I miss you, Lucy.
It's been a while.
Yeah, I don't go to Lyle's no more.
What happened?
They dropped me for Benny. You know who Benny is?
No. I have, that's what I'm saying. I haven't been on lives in months, so and I'm not up to date with anything.
I'm about to do that myself. Some of these lives are getting very pathetic. And
It's very pathetic, yeah.
yeah,
I just kind of
and
want to get a hair up my butt to talk to
really, the
Josh.
only reason why I get on lives these days is to give something to Gazans. And I don't have much to give, but what I do give, I give with all my heart and all my hard working as a bus driver. And I'm proud to be a bus driver. I've seen all kinds of scenarios on the buses, which I'm not going to talk about. But
Like
I'm
public,
a
are
proud
you,
Palestinian American who's almost at the end of life. I'm ready to retire in a couple years, and I'm going to go back to Palestine. I hope there will be a
inshallah,
Palestine that I can enter. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Lucy.
inshallah.
Inshallah. Good words. Good words. And my grandfather was there. My great grandfather was there. I remember in 1950 they arrested my great grandfather, the British. No, not the Brit. Not excuse me. And put him in the Jerusalem jail that still exists there. And he was in there for some stupid minor thing that I think he got 6 months or 30 days. I'm not sure. But my grandfather took me to the jail and he was crying in front of the jail. And I said, "Why are you crying, grandfather?" And he said, "My father passed away in that jail." He goes, "They used to, in the winter, take a fire hose and spray everybody because they wouldn't let them bathe. So they'd get the fire hose out and spray them all down. Of course, there was no windows. It was 30 degrees or 20 degrees at that time. So they all froze to death, had ammonia, and they passed away." And, these were the type of torture that the British used to do. And this is now, of course, exacerbated 100 times higher because of what the Israelis are doing to our poor hostages. I call them hostages because the charges on our people who are in these detention centers is erroneous. They have no right to a real trial. It's under military court. Everybody needs to respect and understand that that is unacceptable. It's against human violations of humans rights. Should I say yes? Violation of human rights. Amnesty International has come out and not and has said that this is not proper treatment of prisoners. They're being given. One prisoner told me that he was held in Jabalia. They set up a new prison in Jabalia. Listen to this. It's a concentration camp for Palestinians. He says they put them in a 8 by 10 room, 30 of them. There's no place for anyone to sleep. They take shifts in sleeping, and when they want to eat, they give them 12 loaves of bread and they throw it up in the air, and whoever catches one gets to eat. And they're starving them in these jails. He says they pull them out and they put a diaper on them and strip them, put a diaper on them, make them lay down, and they bring German Shepherd dogs and have them bark at them, and they zip tie their hands backwards, and they're laying down, and these dogs come up and start barking at them, even urinate on them. Okay, wow, how such humane treatment.
These people have so many creative ways of torture. The story you hear, it's incredible, man. How can I don't know, man. Sometimes I think, like, can we really be that vicious as a human? Like, can
They
a
have to,
human
they
be
have to be under the influence, I think, or something, hopefully, right?
like even when they grape the
Prison.
soldiers?
No, the
Like,
prisoners.
how can you be in a state of war and be in that other state of mind? Like,
Well,
how can you be collectively? It's not like
well,
one.
well.
It's
Let's
not.
just
It's the term goy.
have
It's
y'all.
the term goy. They're goys,
No,
Federico.
no, but
You've
listen,
heard it.
listen, AJ. Us as a human, we function with chemistry in our brain. Okay, so you can say I'm whoever I want to be, but the chemistry you cannot manipulate the functions of the brain. But for a human being to be like where you
There's a lot of research where it shows that the Nazis, they had to be under a lot of DRU, like, under the influence. So I think that's a part of it, right?
but even like if you get to a state of mind under the influence, how can you function with your own families, with your own people, with your own
I don't
like
think they, yeah. That's why there's so much, like, even within their own culture, a lot of graping and like misogyny and like mistreatment of minorities and women, like they don't address, right? Like there's so many stories of like their women being treated really, really poorly.
Well, listen. Let me finish what this poor boy told me. He was 24 years old, detained for 5 months in this camp in Jabalia, in the north of Gaza, and he said that after they go to another room where they have meat hooks, like half a dozen meat hooks, and cranes with ropes, and they connect their handcuffs or their shackles while their hands are behind their back, and they wrap the hook around the handcuff or the shackle, and then they lift them up in the air with their hands. Imagine this, with your hands behind your back. And he goes, then you're there for 18 hours. By that time, your hands are above your head. That means your joints have dislocated from your body weight. So now you have no function of your arms. Then they let him down, okay? And then he said, well, no, excuse me, I missed the step. While they're hanging, and then their arms are above their head eventually because of their sheer weight of their bodies, they get a broomstick and they essay them multiple times for fun.
I don't know, man. The Palestinians go through so much, and I cannot see a human being getting to that point unless you're a devil in a human picture. Like you cannot be human.
Yeah, I think it destroys your humanity when you enact these types of crimes on others. Like if you treat someone like this, you yourself have lost your humanity. Like you're not, I don't know, like how, I don't think there's a soul. It's deep down there. I don't know.
And then let me finish. And then he says they make him go back on the floor,
Oh my gosh.
and he goes, if you're an older person, the lucky ones who are there pass away while they're on the floor from all the torture and all the events. And he prayed, this poor boy, he was 24, he told me this story. He prayed that this would happen to him, he would pass away so he could be free of this torture. But he said, unfortunately, this is his words, I'm just repeating, he survived and he's out now. And it's hard for him to manage. Delivery brought him to my attention. You know who Delivery is, everybody? He's a wonderful Jewish American who is supportive of the Palestinian cause. Does anyone know who I'm talking about on the panel here? Delivery?
I do.
And he brought him to Mitri's panel. You know Mitri, the the Palestinian, a Christian man who I consider my second brother. And we would hang out and laugh and talk. And Delivery brings this boy and tells this story. And he says, listen, he goes, it's going to be dramatic. He gave us a heads up. He goes, whatever you do, don't leave. You need to hear it all the way through. It's a healing process to help this boy understand, because he can't talk about it to fellow Palestinians because of cultural issues. Because they would tell him, shut up, you survived, thank God, and let's move on. That's just the way Muslims are. But he needed therapy, and Delivery took it upon himself to bring him to us and tell us his story. And the poor boy was crying half time. I was crying. Mitri was crying. I mean, the whole panel was so upset for this boy and what he went through. And Delivery said, by listening to him, we help him heal. So if anyone ever comes to a panel and wants to talk, please listen to him, hear him out. It's apparently, I'm not a psychologist or claim to be a psychologist or want to be a psychologist, but Palestinians have a good head on their shoulders. They can read a person from a mile away, whether you're evil, good, or bad. Even Lebanese, especially the Lebanese. Federico, no offense, but my father said, shake a Lebanese hand, count your fingers.
You're making a business deal. When you're at their house, close your eyes and be in safe side.
Oh,
When
good.
it, when it
Nice to
comes
know.
when it comes to business,
Be
Lebanese people
careful.
is an automatic thing. You be
They're
my best
sharp.
friend. We start talking about money. I flip side. Anyway, all the people of the Levant, like we are born commercial travelers, explorers. That's our history.
Yep.
Reading Mornings in Janine by Susan. I can't say her last name. A.L. was something, but just search Mornings in Janine. And she talks about this type, or her. It's a fictional book, and it kind of explains what you guys are talking about. Like if you're a human being and you go through coping mechanisms. And so it's a fictional story of her growing up in Janine and her, family
AJ,
members.
AJ, remove that video.
For the sole purpose of going into Baghdad, Iraq, and doing the work for the United States government as a contractor. And it also states here they are a representative of the Pentagon. So whoever gets Blackwater contracts is 100% complicit with the United States. This is what I'm reading here. And it says here the Prime Minister Nouri al-Maliki called the unaliving a crime, according that his government was pulling Blackwater licenses to operate in Iraq and would ask for prosecution against them. Wow. I mean, al-Maliki got mad at him for the amount of unaliving they did in Iraq. And I got to be careful what I read. I don't want to say buzzwords. But it says here in this Blackwater, it says the dark truth about Blackwater. That's what it's called. If anybody wants to read it for themselves, it's stating that there was, let's see here, they have some official numbers. Oh, yeah. It says here the U.S. military, the CIA, and the State Department, although I've been approached with multiple offers from those in the private military industry, I am not paid, entered to the lobby of industry or to attack it. And it says here, find this report are my own. Okay, so somebody wrote this. It's called The Dark Truth About Blackwater. I mean, he just exposes the heck out of them. It is 100% CIA and Pentagon approved. So if anybody's interested in knowing who Blackwater is, just Google The Dark Truth About Blackwater.
Have you read Dirty Wars by Jeremy Scahill?
No, I have not, unfortunately. I might just do that. It's called Dirty Wars.
Yeah, he look it up because he does a lot of he did a lot of the investigative reporting throughout those wars that broke the truth of
Is
Blackwater.
the title spelled WARS or WHORE?
Oh,
Dirty, dirty, dirty wars or dirty the other spelling?
yeah.
Okay, just want to make
Well,
sure.
Well, I bet, I would say, Chip, unofficially, I agree with what you just said. Both apply.
Both apply.
There you go. Whew, what a day. Hey, folks, this has been going on for a while. We have a little bit of a small audience with not a whole lot of real, lively anti-Zionist dialogue. How about if we reconvene at a later time when we can fill it back up with some balanced panels? That sound fair?
Yeah, it sounds great, Chip. Thank you for letting me on again. I
Yeah,
always
of course.
appreciate it. Thank you for your explicit honesty and sincerity about the issue.
Thank you.
It is very hard to find Americans who believe the same way you do. There are a few, and unfortunately, what's scaring me the most right now, Chip, is one last question before you go.
Yeah.
What do you make about all the resurgence of the schmotzy militant groups coming out of this and doing anti-Semitic and anti-Islamic rhetoric that they're putting across America today?
Well, I'm not really sure about the reemergence part because I'm not as aware as you may be about that. But anytime there are any of these quote hate groups that get together and go out and spew bile in the streets, I think it's just disgusting. The good news is, even though we have free speech in America, like when people from Israel start to say all this crazy stuff, they speak for themselves. They out themselves for the creatures they are, and hopefully they don't turn violent. That's the most important thing. That's what matters to me, not having things go violent. Okay, folks, thanks so much for being
Thanks.
here, and we'll see you all again soon. I really appreciate all of you.
Bye-bye. Have a blessed day.
Yeah, you will. Thanks again, Federico, for all your help. I really appreciate it. And also, Maz, if you're in the comments, thank you as well. Thanks.